she is, little boy, I tell you this. If baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your bank account and that cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. If baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and that cute. She can make it count, how about you? She would put you in the bag, yeah. Wouldn't even need a planet. If she wanted, she a magnet. They should let her name a planet. Everything she drop like Corona, viral, make the world start over like I own her. She ain't about to set, but they really wanna throne her. Listen, she like bass, she like Hover. Self-employed, moving paper better than some Billy Boy. Made a choice on the regular, she bring a milli home. Click my phone, get my ass up, get a dinner going. Watch she out there, making sure that you all know. Baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and that cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and that cute. She can make it count, how about you? She be always making money. If it's raining, if it's sunny, she make time to call me honey every day. Drop a couple bands on the click, they need pay. Then a couple more on the tip, baby saves. Body's just the everyday, imagine holiday. If I get the 50 cent, she get me holidays. Signing with the fly, if you meet her, know it's true. So if she ever asks you, you know that baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and that cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and that cute. She can make it count, how about you?
I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil, she taking me out of this world. I'ma go wave. All the way up. Nice guy with a cold shoulder. Yeah, we cool, but I don't know you. Wrote a flower and I'm off the potion. Give me superpowers and I won't stop to the bank roll on supermassive. Big bank for the space chatter. Way up in the squad NASA. Copper field with the dark magic. Subtle flex when I run a race. Tell these rap buddies eat my dust. Lil baddie after cellular. Talking life and I will set it up. I'm a sharpshooter, yeah, Will Smith. Call me Prince Park, let me freshen up. Bay boy on a level up. Way up near the nebulas. I'm never copping a chain, cause I see it all through the frames. And I leave it all on the pages, feeling like they want me locked in a cage. They want us all on their fade, but I'ma go all the way A with it, cause I don't feel all the way safe here. Yeah, spray the champagne, shower up in the air. Stunner goggles, I don't mess with the flute. Untamed and she wild out the goose. Ghost ride, yeah, I come through the roof. Tucking 12, yeah, they all on my tail. Hella wild and I break all the rules. Chill, bro, you way out of line. Yeah, I know it's a mood. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil, she taking me out of this world, so I'ma go all the way up. Got the Jada squinting, got the gator spinning, I'm outrageous with it, going crazy with it. Got the phrase jumping off the page, gifted, got the waves fishing, got the neighbors tripping, got the trap booming, jumping out the speakers, drip on me, jumping off the easel. Gold wristed, couldn't tell me nothing. Nah, bought a fisted. Cooking the bars, turn a lab into a living kitchen. Watch them grimace when I water whip it. Subtle flexing in the candid image. Come from pushing in the S-type with no license, gas load, the windows tinted. Still couldn't see me with the zoom on your little vision. Nah, we are not the same, we got different lenses. No one snapping like we something real vivid, keep it realistic. Quick to split it with my day ones. Got the label making bank runs, cause a train of thought like a afraid, huh? I'm the type to get a late start. You the type to be afraid, huh? I'm the type to never have things. You the type to have it made, huh? Yeah, wave. And I keep fuel to the flame, huh? How they got me going this hard? Really, I'm the type to never say much. Vice grip, got the game clutch. Every song make the stage rush. I always said making money might change things, but never let it make us. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil, she taking me out of this world. I'ma go
all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud. Tryna go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud. Tryna go all the way up. Y'all hit up with a dream. Hold it down for my team. I'm afraid of how I'm feeling. I get high in the ceiling. How I'm feeling. High in the ceiling. I've been living like I'm past rules. In this ride cap to living like I'm finished.
Wait, louder. Bitch, I'ma go all the way up. Wait.
No, yeah. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. Yeah. I can't let him take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. See, we was cool right before he hit the fence, but he hit the fan when I got him down at the bench. But I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these cause my last name ain't Ken. Cooking on the stove, that's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she paid tuition. Better watch your soul, cause you know they tryna get it. Yeah. I learned my right from wrong on a song. I let my heart bleed on my sleeve through microphones. I'm tryna right my wrongs by writing out my wrongs. Ran through a check, cause it's hard to live off bread alone. So if you see me slipping, yeah, let me know. Cause it ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. Yeah, I need my space to breathe, that's why I be going ghost. I ain't tryna stay up on that wide road, cause I can't let him take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. I can't let him take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. They thinking I'm bluffing, but I promise I do it. That K got a drum, like murder and booming. We sending you vert, if I get my little Uzi. They thinking I'm crazy, I'm gon' see you the haters. People I'm saying, get what I'm painting. The picture big, I call it little baby. If I'm on the board, then we playing chess. If you on my way, you gon' need a vest. Act big, you might get stretched. All your gun talk, I ain't impressed. My 45 seen real traffic. That's Dallas, Texas. My little partner called her body for a Maserati. He told him get up out the car, hit him with the shotty. That 12 gauge, gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write him, but we ain't on the same page. I caught him slipping, I just had to let him know. It ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. These demons really out to get you, so you better guard your post. There's certain things I could probably let go, but I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. I can't let them take my soul.
Your friends chillin', day and night for days on end. Now you can't come see me tonight. Say you ain't got the time. I'm the last one you prioritize. Peeping your IG pictures on my phone. I won't spend another night at home. Okay, I'ma just be on my way. You'll see I'm not the one you take for granted, babe. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? Baby, so can you take me on a date? The simple things you do to make me stay. Now it's like you don't even try. I used to wonder why, but now I'm left with no more tears to cry. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? If you want me the way I want you, put your all into all that you do. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know?
In this moment,
Yes.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No.
It's not hard to fool me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Yes.
Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say
No.
where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, no matter what, yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell your good night, 'cause I'll fight no matter what. Ooh, susceptible now, before the moment flies. It's not a problem,
No.
'cause I know what I'm getting into.
Yes.
Yeah, and nothing can stop me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what, yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible now, before the moment flies. Yeah.
If only you could see me now. If If only you could tell me why you disappeared, you made me cry. So don't come back.
You are now tuning in to TNJ Radio Show. What's cracking? What's cracking?
What's good? What's good?
Leave that on there.
All of the pages feeling like they want me locked in a cage. They want to.
I gotta update that one.
I fall for it every week.
I see you talking.
No, I always think that's you talking.
Oh man, what's going on with you?
Everything, man. You know, another day.
Why you switch that? Why did you do that? See, or do you have a little OCD or like what is?
I can't help.
Why do you always have to be so controlling?
I got to be on the right side.
Oh, this dude's so controlling. You see him out here? I feel sorry for your mother. What movie was that on?
What you say about my mama? Yeah, I remember that. I think
Hey,
it was.
Go ahead.
It was one of them movies. It was like one of them hood movies.
We should have a trivia day.
Mm-hmm.
There's a trivia day.
Now, was that I don't know.
Was it Menace?
It's either Menace or it was like the spoof. Don't Be a Menace.
Well, I watch it on Don't Be a Menace. I don't really watch all them hood flicks.
Mm.
They always dying at the end, man. I don't like it. Like what's that movie? I hate it. People love it, man. What's the movie with Ice Cube? Boys in the Hood. I hate that movie. Who wants to see Ricky get shot? Ricky!
Feel bad for Ricky, man.
Ricky almost made it.
Had
Can't
to
watch it.
It's pretty close. You know, so when you think about someone like pretty close and they going through school and they almost through, man, that's always sad. You know, which that definitely, you know, it makes me think about what was going on yesterday. We're going to talk about it, but it's sad because those kids, they were 2 days away from summer vacation. Did you know that?
No, I don't know if I want to talk about that. That's sad.
Man,
that's very sad. But yeah, back to those hood flicks, man. What's your favorite hood flick? Or what's your favorite cult like movie that maybe not blew up in the theaters, didn't go mainstream, but if it come on, you gonna watch it? Which one?
Didn't go mainstream. I don't know. I used to watch that one movie, Labyrinth, back in the day. You ever see that with the little corn holes and all that? Labyrinth.
Never heard of it.
In fact, never ending story. That's my flick right there.
I'm talking about a black movie. Was there anybody black in there?
I think The Rocks. I don't remember.
I said black movie.
Okay. Well, I can tell you what is the worst one, which was what was it? I Got the Hookup, but
Part 2 was even worse than that.
It was worse.
Oh my God. Don't ever waste your time on that movie. Oh, so bad. I think I paid for it too. It was so bad. He should got everybody in that flick should got a Razzie. DC Young Fly. He had all these comedians in there, and they were just trying to be funny, like every single one. I don't think he had a script.
As far as my favorite, I mean, you said that didn't go mainstream, but this one went mainstream. Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Well, I mean, if you look at the critics, man, the critics don't like that movie. So I consider that's one of them. That's a great movie, definitely. Which movie that if it's on TV, I'm going to watch? I like Think Like a Man. It's real good. As far as like, I like Higher Learning. You watch that?
Yeah, yep. That was a good one. What about Juice? You like that?
I like that movie. I like Juice. Shout out to Tupac right there.
Mm.
Beginning of the end for him. I love Tupac. What's the other ones? I'm gonna get you, sucker. Like that one.
Oh man,
I like
definitely.
Hollywood. Like that one.
Yeah, that was a classic there. I'm going to get you, sucker.
I like Hollywood Shuffle. Like that one. That's with Robert Townsend.
Mm.
That was his first movie. Man, it's funny because like when I went to did I talk about this last week? I don't know if I did. Um, went to Atlanta because I
Mm.
live down South Georgia. Went to Atlanta for my wife's birthday. We had a good time, man. We had a good time. Um, the first thing we did we got there, we went to a little. It was they had a live event. Anywhere, if anybody know, you go down to Atlanta. There's live events all day long, every day. It's a party. Like you could party all week, really. So we went there. Shout out to my friend Andre DC. He was down there when I was there, and we went to this restaurant. Great food. I ended up eating. It was a chicken and uh, a waffle, but it was red velvet waffle.
Oh man, sound like diabetes.
In a freaking circle.
Mm.
With grooves in it, but it was so good. And then what I ate like some shrimp tacos or something. Some type of taco was really good for appetizers. I was just all over the place. And they had this live event where the girl was singing and stuff. It was great. The next day we went to get massages, like couples massage. You ever done that?
No.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We did that. You know, then we went. We were supposed to go to a day party, but we ended up going shopping. We were shopping, and
Mm.
then we went to see Marlon Wayans that night. That was good. I was shocked because I didn't think he was that funny. He's the least funniest of the brothers. You would agree with that, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he had a good set, man. He was rocking out for an hour and a half.
Man, Marlon.
Then,
Did
mhm.
I mean, I don't know if you got to watch towards the end, but he was on that Bel Air show. He actually came into a serious role, which was
Mm.
kind of weird watching that.
Okay, yeah, he's trying to. I guess he's trying to see if he got range. And then Sunday they had another day party that I went to. It was really good.
Mm.
It was really good, man. I had a good time. Um,
No
so
wonder they can't drive down there in Atlanta. Day parties lead to day drinking.
oh yeah, they drinking all day, every day. But that's not the reason. This just people just can't drive. We can't give them any, excuses. They can't drive. So I think because my mom is here down south, she might be watching. I don't know, but we're probably gonna try to go back to Atlanta for the weekend while we got a babysitter, for a weekend.
Mm.
And then I think I'm probably gonna try to take her to the beach before she leaves. Probably gonna leave in a couple of weeks. So now another thing about me, my kids is out of school. Down in Georgia, they get out early. So they're out. Their last day was this Friday. So now the fun begins.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what's up with you, man? How's everything going? How's the son in soccer, man? What's going on, man?
And he's still running up and down the field like a gazelle, doing his thing. But I mean, thankfully they're still in school. Whenever you're adult, everything's the opposite way. When you as a kid, you always looking forward to the summer vacation. When you're a parent, the vacation starts in August or September. So unless you're homeschooling, and shout out to those who do the homeschooling, we always appreciate that. But yeah, man, it's soccer. They do that pretty much almost half the year, starting from the spring, goes to the summer. I've seen it go through the fall. Up here in the north at least. But he's having fun with it.
Good stuff, man. But since we're going to talk about school, we definitely got to talk about that shooting that happened. Um, if you can, once you pull up some information on, I know it's a good article on Daily Mail about the mother. I want to actually talk about information that came out. I covered it earlier on my other show. but the mother, um, there's some details about her. Right now everybody want to make this a political statement like they usually do, because they never do something in real time that's going to help us. And I have a couple ideas on what they should do, and I'm probably going to wait till we kind of talk about the details of it for the people who's not up to speed. We're going to kind of get some new details if we can, and we kind of go through it together. This is kind of a research show for us as well. But it's a sad time that we are in when we have to witness, these massive shootings. A lot of us never want to get that call, and that's our worst nightmare, if you will. But my prayers go out to the families that is actually dealing with this. And for me, I just don't think the government can fix our problems. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my opinion. And part of it is like of me saying, like, okay, if this is a government school, I think the government should protect you. If you forcing people to go to this school, you need to get security in these schools and stop giving money to Ukraine to get them to protect themselves, and you're giving them $40 billion. You're gonna give them $40 billion. You're gonna give all these other countries guns and stuff like that, but you want to take away our guns. You get what I'm saying? So they need to do a better job in protecting their schools. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get into that. But go ahead.
Yeah, make it make sense, and it makes no sense at all. I always hear people when they're talking about priorities. They're talking about we could use this money, that's going here to pay off student loans or this or that, but no one's ever calling out the fact that we're over there arming and protecting other nations, but not our own. And it just makes no sense. So we'll definitely talk about it. You wanted the one where the mother, let me see.
The mother of Texas Elementary School. You said you got it.
Yep, this one here. Yeah.
Let's dive into this and talk about it.
All right, so real quick, it says mother of the deranged 18-year-old maniac who gunned down 19 children, 2 teachers at Texas Elementary School, says she was surprised by his deadly outburst, claiming, "My son wasn't a violent person."
Okay, so let's stop it right there, and we're gonna get back into it. Right there, right. Every mom, every killer mother say that their kid is a good kid.
Yes.
What is up with that?
Every time, and it does no justice. Every mom, my kid wouldn't do that, or I'm surprised, or my kid's a good kid, and so on. But I just don't think that they're actually looking at their kid through the eyes of they're not looking objectively.
Right.
They're always seeing the Gerber baby or something whenever they look at their kid.
Right. See, most women do not want to see men, we always get reality. We always get told, our shortcomings all the time. If you don't have enough money, if you're short, if you're too dark, we hear these things. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to women and children, they're so protected, right? Women do not want to hear their flaws. You have people where we talk about Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was actually trying to help the men, and with his rhetoric, if you will, that's what they would call it, rhetoric. But he was trying to help men. But in that help, he was trying to he's basically telling women that you need to step your game up if you want these type of men. And everybody came out, and basically not everybody, but most came out and said he's rude and he should not disrespect women. But here's the thing: did you say that when he was disrespecting men? We could call it constructive criticism. But he was saying the same thing to men. I remember watching this video with this guy. He was overweight. He was young and he had no any money. And what he said was, "You ain't gonna get a girl. Go lose some weight and go find a job." He said the same thing to men. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And you can take it as, that was mean, but you have to step your game up. Now, when we talk about this lady, now there's only revelations coming out in this article. If this is the same article that I read, so we'll just continue to read. Go ahead.
All right, let me go back to it. All right, so Adriana Reyes said her son, the shooter, Salvador Ramos, which first of all, we'll stop. Notice a different last name, which means that she is either not with the father or they're not married. But
Good call on that. I didn't even notice that, but continue.
yep, kept to himself and didn't have many friends, but denied the two had a volatile relationship.
Okay, so right there, if you have a child that is not talking to anyone, don't you think you should check on that child? You get what I'm saying? Like, if a kid is not speaking to anybody and he's but to himself, that's a red flag right there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And it's there are different labels that society might have. Some people might say weird and stuff like that, but most children in general should be social. And this is one of the things that they were talking about in regards to, like, whenever the lockdowns, the leftist lockdowns that were going on,
mm-hmm.
they were saying, we were saying this.
Mm-hmm.
We were saying that if you do this, if you keep these kids separated like that, if you keep them online all day, if you keep them to where they can't read facial communication, it's going to have problems. And I'm not saying it's necessarily related to that, but believe that we will be paying the bill.
Good point. Good point. Continue.
Let me switch my voice up. My son wasn't a violent person. Reyes told the outlet Wednesday, "I'm surprised by what he did." I don't know how they talk down there. It's the South, it's the Midwest and stuff, so I don't know. But so she goes on to, "I pray for those families and I'm praying for all those innocent children. Yes, I am. They had no part in this." Now,
All right, here's the part that I will need you to read right here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
According to reports, Reyes struggled with drug use and had kicked her troubled son out of her home, forcing him to move in with his grandmother, who he shot before his unthinkable rampage. The grandmother, Celia Gonzalez, remains hospitalized. I didn't know she was still alive. Wow. So police said that Ramos crashed his pickup truck in a ditch near Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and stormed into the school with a semi-automatic rifle.
All right, stop right there. We got to stop. We can't gloss over what we just read. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Is this mic on? Testing 1, 2.
Hear you great.
This is the story of a single parent, a selfish parent who was on drugs. You don't know what your son was doing.
Mm-hmm.
This guy probably, and this kid was talked about so much in school. He was talked about so much in school where he didn't want to go to school. He was bullied. He had some speech impediment. You understand what I'm saying? And kids can be mean. And the woman who watched you shot her first. Who knows who the father is? Most times, the kid is troubled because of their family situation first. Most people who's locked up, killed somebody, raped somebody, most of them, it's a higher percentage of it. It's like what 80 to 90% of those people that's locked up is in a single parent household. True or not true?
That's true. That's and just real quick, because a lot of people think that whenever you're saying that it's mean, that it's something racist, or that it's targeting. These are facts. You know, at the end of the day, the facts don't care about your feelings.
That's right.
Like, people need to actually listen to this stuff and learn from it. Like, if you're just going around thinking that you're going to live your life and thinking that the way that you live your life has no repercussions, like, you're wrong. And I sit there and think back, it was sad, a gentleman that both of us knew, a businessman, a man in the community, he actually took in his nephew who had some problems and things like that. But this nephew, some of these kids, okay, they are past the point of no return. They're past that point.
Right.
Some of these kids, hey, God can do anything. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. God can do anything. But some of these kids, they are already set on a collision course with doom.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to bring them back. The best thing that you can do in some situations is put them in an environment that could teach them discipline, military. Sometimes it's imprisonment, depending on if they did something. But you have to put them in an environment to be able to get the things that they didn't get. This young boy who was, staying with the gentleman that we know, businessman, man in the community, actually killed his own uncle.
Yeah.
So people think that this is a game. A lot of this stuff, and I know that there's going to be different agendas, and we'll talk about that. That there's agendas that the left are going to push from this situation, and agendas on the right. But what we're talking about right now is family matters. At the end of the day, all of the things that are in here, all of these mass shootings, they're not all separated families, but you'll see that there's some dysfunction.
That's right. And also, because we're going to get into it anyway, we're going to talk about it. There's questions of, is it the lack of Republicans voting on this law to get rid of to ban AR-15s, or is it the mental health aspect of it? That's what they're fighting it over now. And the thing is, people saw how this guy was acting. You know what I mean? But I think right now we have a lack of morality.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really care about how people think. We don't call each other to see if they're okay. Because we're so consumed with ourselves. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting that they saw this guy walking. I mean, one of his friends said he was acting funny, and all of a sudden he starts stabbing himself, doing self what do you call it, mutilation or whatever.
Right.
And he saw it, but he just stepped away from him. Some people said he was posting stuff on social media when he got the automatic rifle. Now, there's a couple things I want to say about this. So, first off, no one cares, and people are going to say this is right wing talking points, but I'm going to say it. You know how many kids get shot, African American kids, all across the country on a given weekend, where these girls are doing TikToks, and these gang members is going out there shooting everybody in the block, people dropping, but they never say anything about it. We just had a situation where a white man came in there to a store and targeted black people and killed 9-10 of them, and You didn't see Joe Biden come out here saying we're going to need to do something. You didn't see Steve Kerr going out there crying about it, which we're going to play that audio with Steve Kerr and Young Turks tripping, crying over this stuff. But when we get shot, no one cares. They don't care like that. Where's the African American crime bill? You know what I'm saying? You want to do something now because it's political. To be honest, but Joe Biden cares more about Texas flipping from Republican to Democrat than he cares about those kids.
Right.
This is political.
Yep.
They're doing abortion stuff there. They're blocking abortions and they want that state. Let's keep it 100. They don't care because this school is a government school. If you try to go to any government building, they have snipers at the building. Any building you try to go to, just go to the Social Security office or whatever. They got officers there. You see what I'm saying? You okay with indoctrinating us with the learning process that you guys do? Every place, every state got the same learning criteria pretty much in the government school. You okay with that? But you spend that at $40 billion and get some security guards in front of the school. End of discussion. This is your school that we pay taxes for. You see what I'm saying? If you want to print money, protect these kids and stop sitting there trying to say we're going to take away these guns. Let me say, if a security guard had an AR-15, you think that kid would have went there? Secondly, how did the kid just walk into school? Because down here, I'll give you an example. In my school in Pittsburgh, shout out to Pittsburgh. When I was living there and when I went to school, Woodland Hills, in 1993, somebody brought a gun in. Somebody brought a gun into school when my sister was in that school. And before that, they didn't have metal detectors. They didn't have protection there. You could just walk into the school. Once that happened, they did the procedures. See what I'm saying? They locked the door. They put the metal detectors in. They had security guards. They was protecting us to make us feel more comfortable going to school. When I'm down here, in every school, there's a cop. They lock the doors. They lock the gates. They got cameras outside where the secretary could see if somebody walking with an AR-15 walking to the thing.
Yep. Same thing at my kids' school. I mean, whenever they go in, before you can get in, there's a camera right there. You got to show ID to be able to get in. I mean, this was midday. Now, it may be a different story if, God forbid something happened at the beginning of the day or something of the sort. But at the beginning of the day, at my kids' school, at the high school and the elementary school level, there is a cop, a resource officer that is armed in both situations who is there. And I don't get how this is rocket science. I understand that, maybe there was a time when that wasn't needed, but the bigger problem, and you had talked about it earlier, is that our morals as a country are going downhill. People are caring less about people. And it's because of a number of different things. Thank you for the donation. It's because of a number of different things. But one of the things that we have to, understand as human beings, that times evolve. Remember, there was a time when people used to leave their keys inside their car. There was a time when people used to leave their doors unlocked. The average family, put it in the comments if you or your parents ever talked about that, to where you used to leave your doors unlocked at night. You can't do that anymore. There are probably some towns where they do that.
Let me tell you something. People used to get guns at a 12-year-old birthday. People used to leave guns around the house and the kids knew not to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's morals back then. Why is it that people was having guns since the beginning of time, since 1900s, right? 1901, they was having guns in the house. Guns here, guns there. It's only now, the crime it increased when it comes to a lot of people getting shot in one place, right? So what changed from 1950s to now? What changed is they're taking God out of schools. Now hear me out here. For any biblical person on this that know anything about biblical history, you can explain this. God revealed it to me today. Who was the one of the worst, scariest killers in the Bible? And was Saul, right? Saul got touched by God and it became a disciple for God. What only thing changed him was God, because he was out there killing Christians.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. Now, too, for the people who's like, we got to get rid of the AR-15s. Well, a couple of years ago, and when you talk to certain people, they don't like statistics because it messes up their talking points, right? People died more from a knife than an AR-15.
Yep.
In 1 year, it was 1,500 people got killed with a knife, but only 500 people was killed with an AR-15. What is that telling you?
Right.
What about the people who's driving cars? There's more deaths on the road. Do you want them to get rid of cars? Do you want them to do more restrictions on buying a car?
Or let me give you one that's even better. There are more deaths from DUI drivers driving under the influence. So, or do we want to get rid of alcohol? If you are not listen slowly. There are more deaths from DUIs than from mass shootings, than from guns. So you want to see how did prohibition go? At the end of the day. So people don't want to hear the facts. You had talked about some numbers, okay? Because people always go to these talking points. And I was talking about earlier how people are getting social engineered. They're engineered to be able to be angry at certain points. They're engineered to have certain thoughts a certain way, to respond a certain way. If you're black, you're supposed to, check the list. You're supposed to be for the LGBT. You're supposed to, be for abortion. You're supposed to, just have only a hyper racialized focus on everything. That's what you're supposed to do based on the social engineering. So I was looking at some numbers. You remember how whenever there was a mass shooting during Trump's presidency, you remember what they would say, right?
Yeah, it was the Trumpers. He was provoking this.
Right. So I was going through, I was just doing some, Jay-Z math. You know how he was like, one, no, two of them things was due. But whatever the case, I looked at Trump's presidency, which started in January 2017 till, 2021. There were 11 mass shootings starting from October. That was the one in Vegas, which that was terrible. I mean, they're all terrible, but in Vegas, you're not expecting that. But they had started off blaming that on Trump. So 11 mass shootings in 48 months. How many do you think there were in the time of Joe Biden?
10.
There were 8. Now, the thing is that we're talking about Joe Biden's been in office for 16 months. So we're going to go by that logic, which is basically a mass shooting every 2 months, right? Then Joe Biden, who if statistically is on track to have more than double the amount of mass shootings during the presidency, if we're going by that same logic, then we need to just blame Joe Biden.
Well,
right?
You're right. Totally right about the assessment that you're making. But what they're doing is they're saying this is the residual effect of having Trump in the office. You know, they keep talking about what he did or how they had that riot in what January 6th. That's a big date that's always going to be remembered. You know, so it's always going to be something else other than themselves. Now, um, and that's one thing he's saying. Like I said, this is all trying to get votes. He said, Joe Biden, that inflation is because the people who's making all the billionaires is not giving more money with the corporate tax. Did you hear him say that?
Yeah, you know who believes that? The people that don't know anything, who lean to the left. You know, the ones who lean to the left, who like maybe took an economics class, they don't believe that, but they just don't say nothing.
They just don't say nothing. Correct.
Right. But yeah, you know, like people are just so gullible. They get led like sheep.
Like,
I mean,
we know a little bit of history. Let's talk about what happened in Egypt.
mhm.
What happened in Egypt? What they had gold, and what they did was they tried to dilute the money, burn it up, and stretch it out. You know, put silver or put whatever other mineral in it, and it diluted the value of the money. You know, it increased inflation. So what you think is going to happen now? The forefathers was very intelligent. Um, you know, for some people's to sitting there and mad at the forefathers for starting this country. You know, and creating the greatest uh, piece of paper ever, the Constitution.
Mhm.
Like, people don't understand that this is to protect the citizens against government. This is the only thing stand between a king. They were trying to give us something. Well, maybe not us because we wasn't included in it until now, but we are here now, right?
Mhm.
We are citizens. This document was to protect from government, and these guys are slowly trying to take away the Second Amendment, which is not the purpose of the Second Amendment was not to go duck hunting. It was to protect us from crooked governments.
Say that again.
It was not to here for us to duck hunt. It wasn't here for us to shoot cans in the backyard. It was not for that. It was to protect us from the government. And slowly but surely, they're scaring you and saying this is old document. We need to change it. Why would you get people who messed up the country in the first place to change something? First of all, these idiots was the ones who said, let's make a school zone gun free. The only people who's going to follow that is people who follow the law.
Mm.
I'll say that again. I'll do my Umar thing. The only people who's going to follow the law is the people who's paying taxes and trying to do the right thing. But there's a group of people who's not trying to do the right thing. We got to stop with this mental health stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. Mental health is real. It is real. You can ask anybody who went to war and came back. Mental health is real situation. But there's something more realer than that, if that's the word. But I'm gonna go with it. The most real you can get is good and evil.
Mm.
Good and evil. You see what I'm saying? It's always like I don't know why this generation is so bent on like I don't know the word to say, but if we look back in history, since the beginning of time, there was always fighting and wars. There was always wars. There was always massive killings. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a good and evil thing. Good and evil. And that's what people don't understand. And you know, we never going to. No one's never going to be able to figure this thing out. There's always going to be massive killings. You know, there's always going to be neighbors not getting along, drunk driving, and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? One good thing about it though is when tragedy does happen, people get together and stick together. But we need to do that in good and bad times. Because like right now, there's a lot of people. Heart is either hard or soft. Now, apparently, this guy's heart was hardened. You see what I'm saying? If maybe someone would have saw him and said, "I love you," maybe that would have changed. We don't know. But certain people, like everybody wants to be somebody. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We coming out wanting to be somebody. And once you get older, because like you don't see killers at 5 years old, man. They're pure, they're young, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is like learned behavior. You know?
Yep. And I think that the other problem is that whenever a kid is growing up, if you keep on seeing that kid as that 5-year-old kid, that's the other side of the problem, because they could end up becoming that killer, and you're not going to do anything about it but make excuses, or I had no idea, or wasn't like that with me. Like the mother of Ramos, like it says why do you think she kicked him out?
Right.
She didn't
She's
kick him out so
lying.
he get a better opportunity.
She's lying. You know what I'm saying? She's why you kick? Come on. And secondly, there was an article. I don't know if you read it or not on this article, but they were saying that she had other kids that got taken from her. The mom.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So there's a theme here, and so and right now there's people out here right now, on that bridge of doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like every couple seconds or something, somebody's getting murdered or whatever. But it's just interesting because they want to talk about a massive shooting, but this type of stuff happens every day. And I'm not saying I feel for the family, but I'm just saying like we may have to protect our own communities. You see what I'm saying? Like if it comes down to it, I'll get a bunch of fathers and we watch over our kids' schools, or we homeschool. You get what I'm saying? We get the guns and walk the beat and protect our kids, like they did in I think one of them bad schools that happened in like New Orleans, where their kids were fighting every day, and then all the men got together, started walking the schools and protecting that school, and there's no fight. There was no fights after that. So maybe we have to step our game up, and not trust the government, because anybody who's a government official say they're here to help with their handout, you better watch them, because they're not doing it for that. They're doing it for power. Like they're trying to inch by inch take our power and scare us to say we can't take care of ourselves. We don't have enough money to take care of the family. We're not educated enough to educate our kids, because they got us working all the time. They put us in this hamster wheel, if you will, like where you get this job. I mean, you go to school, they indoctrinate you from the beginning. You go to the school and you got to pay this huge loan off. And some people can do it, some people can't. You know what I'm saying? But they get you in this spiral, in this system, this machine. Like everything we're dealing with is a machine that they want us to be in. And that's why they don't educate. Like we always wonder, why don't they educate this? Because they don't want you in that. They don't want you knowing this, because they need this machine to run.
They want you to just go in and ring the bell, and that's it. Clock in, clock out. But when you sit there and look at everything that's going on, not only are they not really educating people to be able to do critical thinking, but they're doing the opposite. They're basically telling you that up is down, down is up, right is wrong, wrong is right.
It's their fault. They're pointing both ways, like different. It's your fault. So,
right. Yeah. Which way did he go? Remember, Bugs Bunny used to be like, over there, that way.
That's what is going on. That's what's going on. They put the name game. I mean, they blaming people. And think about this: like Trump. I mean, Biden been in office for a short period of time, and what did he get done? You have the House and Senate. One of your your friends corrected me when I said 3 branches of government. He's right, 2 branches of government. And that 2 branches can do a lot of things. The 3rd branch is the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court really don't get into anything. You know what I mean? So you can get a lot done with the 2 branches of government. If you got the House, the Senate, and you have the president, all the president do have to sign. It's Nancy Pelosi's job to get whatever they want to accomplish in. and they keep hiring this old 80-year-old lady. In my opinion, we need to get all these ancient 80-year-old people out of this office. And this is why I say this. You can't sit there and say these Republicans is racist, and you can't say the Democrats are racist because these people was born in the 1930s. So think about their life. 1950 was their highlight of the career. They sitting there watching, having blue suede shoes and jumping in their car and getting milkshakes at the local restaurant. Like their reality was 50s. And we still voting these old people in. Can we get some young people like 50 years old that actually experienced something? That actually was in school with black and white? That's just a thought, man. Anybody, if you hear what I'm saying, hit the one in the comments if you agree with me, man. But get these old people out of there.
Got these old relics in there. They over there dropping dust everywhere they go. But yeah, it's a shame because a lot of them are just like so far apart from, they're out of touch with reality. Like, Joe Biden, like his everyday, he could care less about an elementary school.
It's not even about caring less. He is so out of it. He don't know what's going on. You hear his speeches. He is just a puppet. Let's be honest.
Let me do my impression. So we are here. That's literally what it ends up looking like. I'm like
reading off a script where he probably got cataract and had brain injury. He had brain surgery. Like, he's not running the country, man. It's the people behind him. He don't write those speeches. He just as we can see when Trump was in office. Like, Trump changed a little bit and did what he wanted to do, kind of, once he figured out what was going on. But they tell you where to go. It's like when you get a job and you're the CEO at first. You don't know nothing going on in this company. So they tell you, all right, this is the phone. You go here. You go here. Here's the keys here. This is what you have to do at 2:00. They got your whole day mapped out, man. You don't know what's going on. What decisions is he really making?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, an 80-year-old lawyer, an 80-year-old politician, that's an 80-year-old.
Yeah. and like I said, Reagan, even him, his second term, he was having Alzheimer's. He knows. They said he was just sitting there watching Gunsmoke out every day in the office sleeping. That was the people under him. They just need that face to make the country feel safe, right? And shake hands and kiss babies. But there's stuff that's going on behind the scenes, even when they vote for a bill. Why are you writing a bill that's 3,000 pages? And then you'll name it one thing like the stimulus package, but then you got all the stuff in the thing that nobody read. Y'all do this on purpose. Lawyers is the most what's the word I'm looking for? They're dishonest people out here. Lawyers, and everybody who's in office is lawyers. They're lawyers. And they're writing these long stuff, and then they go on out here lying to us. There's so much money that they're like, all right, we're going to do the stimulus package, so we're going to give everybody $600. But in the bottom print, give money to ISIS or something. You know what I'm saying? and two, this is just baffles my mind. Like, nobody thinks about this stuff. Nobody cares that we printed money and we paid $40 billion to Ukraine. Where don't you think he could have just went over to Afghanistan before you left, and the stuff you gave to ISIS or whatever that group is, you could have just gave that to Ukraine. Is that not true?
Yeah,
Russia's right here.
I don't think that the average American really, understands what that means as far as printing money. I think that when they hear that, they kind of are disconnected from it. Kind of like a kid, who's getting money from the tooth fairy or something. I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I'm just saying that most people don't know. I had people argue with me to say that, like, printing money doesn't do anything. It doesn't cause inflation. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, most of the top economists in the world, Thomas Sowell, who's like,
forget about that, because we can say that these names. It happened in Germany in 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
They printed so much money where the value went down. It happened in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica, when I went to Jamaica, I had to spend $600 of their money to get a burger from Burger King over there.
Mm.
Come on, man.
Wow.
And when they started in 1972, if you look at a chart, their value of money was just like ours. It was the same strength. And then you go 20, 30 years later, you see what happened.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And let's keep it 100. The reason why they're printing money is it started in 1914. They printed money because we had too much power. They had the politicians had to go to us and convince us why they needed more taxes. And back in the day, if you look at Roman times, was one of the best civilizations ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Egypt, they only raised taxes for war, right? So these guys wanted to do certain things, and the forefathers fought that. Like, we don't want no central bank. We don't want none of that, right? Let the people do it. And
Man, one of them died about that.
yeah.
Well, no, the one who died, he was the one who wanted to do it. That was Alexander Hamilton. But man, I guess shout out to Aaron Burr. He tried to fight to to save us.
Right. As soon as these powers that be had this power, everything, like, then we go through, the 1920s, we went through a depression, and then we did that which it was needed at the time, but the welfare thing that FDR put in place that we still ain't getting ahead of. Then the Social Security, which, why did you take out for Social Security if you sending us letters now saying that you're not going to have enough money because you're so backed up because you're using the money? You didn't expect us to live this long.
Do you notice how they use these names, these euphemisms, whenever they're talking about this stuff? Like, you talk about FDR, like, we're talking about the Great Society. Like, what's great about that?
Beats me. And so guess what? He did something that the grandparent or the grandkids got to pay for, because Social Security is done, and then they try to make, man, just a mess, man. And the sad thing about it to me is, like, certain people's not paying attention to it, and they're just washing their hands with it because they only care about their lives. You know what I'm saying? But here's what I do know. They indoctrinate people since because this their school, right? And then you have the teachers who fought against the war, and they're teachers now. They're teaching our kids. And the older you get, and I see this a lot. You're young enough to be a Democrat, and the older you get, you stop being a Democrat because you start getting wiser. You start seeing what's really going on. Age will change you. You don't have to be us. You're gonna see something. That's why right now, I think Joe Biden's his poll numbers is very low. I think it's like 36%. Because people are waking up. So at this point, they're panicking, right? They're panicking, and that's why they're trying to get new people over here.
Right. Yeah, and that's happening, and there are people who have different spins on it and stuff, but the fact is that's what it is. And the real replacement that's going on is that they're trying to replace the people who aren't really their old supporters, who might be kind of waking up, like you said. A lot of them are some of them are Black people, in America, that are waking up. They woke up during Trump's time, and now they're really sitting here looking like, man, what is going on? So, like, all right, we need a new group. Bring them in.
It's like a job. You've been at this job for a long time, and you start saying, I ain't doing this. I ain't taking out the garbage. I ain't getting in early. I'm not going to y'all meeting. And what do? They drive you out, and they start hiring new blood. That's what you do.
And
if you want a new culture,
they pay them less too.
They pay them less, and they don't even know any better. And they get rid of the bad apples. That's what's going on right now. They used black people so long, and they didn't do any bit. That's why a lot of black people are mad now. Remember Stacey Abrams? They didn't even go see Joe Biden down in Atlanta when he went down there because they're like, you didn't pass this bill that you say you was going to pass. People mad. Oh, what you about to say?
Oh, I was going to say, where's the reparations bills, guys? You know, I remember seeing some posts on Facebook back at 2019 going into election season. Like this one dude, I would have to find it. I wish I found this. I could put it out there. He said, well, I'm rolling with the Democrats because they're going to give us reparations. I'm like, you are a fool.
Idiot.
They're the ones who cut off the reparations in the first place.
They shot a president so they wouldn't have to pay you. They killed a president that was going to give it to you, and they shot him in the head. And then they did Jim Crow for 100 years. That's how they think of you. That's how they think of you. You know what I'm saying? And they always say, I've been helping you all this time. And come on, man. Come on. That's why I can't get into this because people ain't gonna wake up. You just gotta. I am an individualist now. I never was an individualist before, but I am at this point in time in my life because you can't. People just not gonna be on board, man. You know, and each his own. I mean, if you feel like they're better for you. The great thing I like about the United States is every state is different. You know, Texas is more, conservative. You got Florida, you got Georgia. Then if you want to go to California and live under the prison system, go to California. If you want to live under the prison system because you feel like you can't be taken care of and you want higher taxes, go to New York. You don't have to sit there and mess up another state like they're trying to do right now. What they do is it's like people going back down south, but they having the north ideas. I mean, they're having these slave ideas, and so when they're voting, they're flipping the state, and that's what they want. They're getting all these immigrants that they're not talking about. They get rid of the Haitians, but they get all these Afghanistan people and get them on the plane, and they're putting them in places like Texas, Florida. They don't care about people. They just trying to flip these states so they can stay in power. Ooh, can you believe the much power? They don't really care now. But I want to play something real quick before we get off real fast. First I want to play Steve Kerr. Then I want to play Young Turks. All right, and we can do a reaction, and then we'll end it there. But
okay, bring it.
All right, let me share hit this screen right here.
Just another quick thing about the Second Amendment, because there's this rhetoric talking about the Second Amendment wasn't for assault-style weapons, which, by the way, all weapons are assault weapons. But whatever the case, like the Second Amendment, when it was written, that included cannons.
I didn't think of that.
I mean, they had cannons. Cannons were protected. Yeah, Joe Biden, he tried to, I remember it was like last year or the year before, he tried to say, he had a false thing saying that you couldn't get cannons when the Second Amendment. Yes, you could.
Let me get a cannon. Shoot. I'll be just fireworks. Boom. All right, here we go here.
Happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly Black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, you know. Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite.
All right, enough of that. What's your thoughts on that?
Knowing that it's in the NBA, you can see the political turn, the political tone of it all. He had the specific bill that he was interested in, but why wasn't he talking about that a couple weeks ago? Why wasn't he talking about that during, after the New York shooting? I hate to get into the what about of it all, okay? But the problem is it's not really that these other shootings happen. The problem is that they're using this situation because people are more sympathetic to children.
Right.
That's why they're doing. He had that fake cry. Like, come on, man. Why isn't he saying anything about adding some security guards in there?
My question is, why don't we say this at the all these guys are billionaires that run these teams.
Mm-hmm.
How are you protecting the school? I mean, the arenas. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has security once they get around into that parking lot. You can't do nothing in them parking lots. You can't get to the stadium without a bunch of cops stopping you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Jay-Z. I'm just throwing him out here. I heard his security is so great. This dude have 3 securities on him, and they said he has like a security around the block with a walkie-talkie. You think you're going to be able to touch any of these politicians' kids? My question is, before you tell people to stop having weapons that they may have, how about you say stop having the security with those type of guns around you to protect you and your family?
Right.
What about the ones you go to their house, they in gated communities with security guards and snipers around their houses?
Yep.
So only people being affected is poor and middle class.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to go, like if you see a celebrity, you ever tried to even go up to them? Shoot.
Let me tell you something. They won't come to the hood, without any security. Meanwhile, in fact, some of them, they won't go to the little grocery store without their...
Everybody like Tekashi 6ix9ine, Mayweather, and any of these billionaires, they have ex-military watching over their families. There's enough military. This is a new job that they can give. You have all these good, like I said, you got all these public schools. Get use some of that bill money and get some security there, and we won't be talking about this ever again.
So, speaking of NBA, another former NBA player had spoke about these shootings before. I don't know if he spoke about it recently, but I remember during the Parkland ones, he was speaking about it. Named Shaquille O'Neal, who is served on law enforcement. And what he said was that they need to have security guards in the schools. Simple as that.
Simple
Like,
as that.
you know, it's like they have a sign that says, "Hey, criminals, this is a gun-free zone. Make sure that you don't do any criminal activity."
That's what I'm saying. If they really cared about you, why would they make these places gun free? Like I was telling my homeboy, I was like, look, I know he carries a gun. I feel so safe with dude because if somebody's shooting, he gonna shoot back. You know? And when somebody's shooting at you, you gotta focus on the person who's shooting you. That's how it is. I'm gonna play this Young Turks video real quick. Let me see here.
To soon make a decision that could allow for open carry across the country. So let's sit around and wait for that bomb to drop. And you know, you have a political party that like revels in, they're giddy about the possibility of a civil war or violence in the country. They intentionally vote down any legislation, either on a state level or a federal level, that would.
Oh, for the record, I can't stand this chick right here, and I really don't. So, for the record, just so you know,
help with mental health treatment in this country. And I want you to keep that in mind as we go to this tweet from Marjorie Green. Okay, because this is, I mean, it's almost as if like they have this game plan, it's a script, they follow the script after every match.
And yes, it is definitely the Republican Party's fault.
It is.
Now I'm gonna get back to the Democratic Party because they are not at all blameless. But the Republican Party celebrates the massacre of our children because they say, no, my guns are more important. My guns, my guns. Now look, I can prove you easily that the problem isn't the cause of any particular shooter. Yes, the replacement theory is nuts. Yes, it's driving more violence. Yes, Trump constantly.
He's an atheist, by the way, but I'll continue.
Calling for civil war. He literally called for civil war yesterday on his social media platform. Yes, all those things contribute mightily to the problem. But when you talk about gun control, it's so easy to understand. Okay, the cause isn't as important as the weapon in this case. Why? Now, if we said, hey, you know what? Forget just guns and machine guns and technically it's not a machine gun. Oh, I know gun. I don't give a goddamn, okay? The kids are dead. So, okay, automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, assault rifles, on and on. They love them all. They're like, kill, 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 right? That's what Republicans are about. That's what the right wing's about. They're killing our kids. They're literally killing our kids.
They're killing our kids. Oh my God.
And you know what? You know what's interesting? There's people who watch this and they're like, yeah, they are.
That's true.
Our kids. Wow, you're right. Just sitting there, you know, gets hypnotized, the little swirly thing, and they start talking like a zombie or something. Like, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm imagining. The people watching this.
Okay, so if someone don't put certain things in the car, and someone kills someone, you know, you're gonna blame the manufacturer, or you're gonna blame the person who got in the car. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand that logic. Talk about they're killing the kids. So what about the people who was killed with legal guns, like regular handguns, knives, bombs? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
You know what? You know what's really been probably more so killing the kids? A certain medical thing that we're going to leave nameless. But certain medical thing that they've been recommending the kids get over the last 3 years.
Absolutely. And then in the same the medical thing that you're talking about, you know, they're taking it on, they're taking it off the market, they're taking it on the market because we're being test dummies. But that's another story.
Rhymes with vacation. But go ahead.
Oh man, unbelievable.
Actual
and they
kids,
love it.
Actual kids that are actually, viable outside the womb.
Okay, I'm going to get to that
kids,
too.
They have no problem.
So,
watching them die on school campuses on a regular basis, no problem. And the reason why I say no problem is because their actions prove it. Go ahead.
So, if you say, hey, we don't need any gun control, as all lunatic right-wingers say, you're all lunatics, okay? So, all right, then what about RPGs? Okay, no gun control, no arms control. It says right to bear arms in the Second Amendment. Should we give everybody an RPG, a shoulder-fired missile, so that, oh, but you said, well, don't do that. I mean, there's crazy people. You remember that guy at work? Oh my God, that guy at the post office. That's a little crazy, right? I mean, you can't walk around with shoulder-fired missiles. Why not? We walk around with assault rifles that cut down 14 kids before anybody can respond. You love that if you're against gun control. You love that. Don't tell me you don't want RPGs. And by the way, if you're a Republican, secretly, right now in your head, you're thinking, boy, I'd love an RPG. Okay, well, then let's extend that argument further. Why don't we give everyone a small nuclear device? What? You don't want any control, right? Freedom, your freedom. Let's just nuke each other. Right? And then go, oh, which one's the cause? I wonder what's the cause. The cause is there's a lot of unstable people in the world. If you give them all of the weapons that we have, they will use it against us and our kids. Dumb. I'm so sick of it. I'm supposed to not call them stupid. They're murdering our kids with weapons that you allow them to have for no goddamn reason. Okay, dumb. What do you want them to have, nukes? You probably do. If you're a right winger, you're probably that stupid. Then you'd be like, oh, just give them nukes. Who cares?
So
this is comical.
It is, but this is the typical left wing, point. So what you do is you go to the farthest of extremes to try to prove your point. So whenever they're talking about abortion, for example, they'll say, what if someone got raped in the back alley on top of the Empire State Building while they were wearing a sundress or something of the sort? And it's like, what are you talking about? It's either right or it's wrong. We're talking about abortion. I know that people have different thoughts on it. It's either murder or it's not. Or the other thing that they'll do is they'll conflate things. They'll be like, and I heard that girl Anna do it. They go into, oh, they don't care about this, but they care about the abort. I'm like, these two things have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's always a game to keep people from being able to critically think.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, if they're using that point of saying, all right, you pro-lifers, you care about abortion, but you don't care about after the womb, then aren't you in effect saying that abortion is wrong?
Wow. And then what they do is we have to go off of fear. That's why they're taking God out of everything, because God doesn't. There's no fear with God. There's no worry with God. You don't worry about these things, right? Like certain things. But in order for someone to control you, there has to be some type of fear there. It has to be. Even like in relationships, someone will say the threat of, I will leave you if you don't do this. When it comes to politicians, hey, we have to act now. If we don't act now and don't worry about what's in the bill, we're going to be in trouble. Like when it came to the vacation stuff that we were talking about earlier, they scared everybody. The stuff that didn't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? Now they're trying to scare everybody with this situation, like this didn't happen in 1999 when I was in school. The dude with the trench coat. You know what I'm saying? And they just scare you. But here's the thing: if we need to take the country back if we want to. Like I said, if they're not going to protect the schools, let's take them out. I bet you if people stop going to these schools, because that's a lot of reason why, if they stop taking them to these public schools, they're going to start doing some measures to protect the school. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why they don't want school choice. Ultimately, it's one of the most take the power from the people thing. It's actually racist also, But a lot of people don't understand. What they do is they try to scare you. They say if everybody has school choice, then what they're going to do is they're going to make it harder for you to be able to get into the school that you want to choose.
And then they say, what do they say? They say we're going to go back to segregation. That was the big thing. They were saying they're trying to do segregation again. You see what I'm saying?
Scare tactics. And that's the only way that they can get people to be able to move the needle. It's always another thing. They were, man, I think that they had an orgasm, honestly, whenever this happened. You saw Beto O'Rourke. He goes over there in the middle of a press conference to try to score some Democrat cool points for interrupting the conference and making a scene. Like come on. The governor's down there speaking, so disrespectful, but it shows that they don't really care about that. All they care about is the show at the end of the day.
You hit it right on the nail. They love this.
Yep.
They love it because they can go on stage and perform. They go on stage and do like a pastor,
And we don't have to, use this as a, thing. I know that we talked about it and stuff like that. I know that, well, no, we didn't talk about it. Cenk actually said, he said, give everybody a rocket launcher or so on. But at the end of the day, most people are okay with some type of background checks. That's not going to stop the issue. Dude just turned 18.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, what was going to stop him from getting one if they did the background check? If like, you know what I'm saying? Don't you have to do something criminal?
Right. Yeah. So it just boggles my mind. The stupid things that.
And let's stop with it. Is so they did. It's harder than ever to get weapons than it was before. Let's keep it 100. The people who go to jail, they can't get guns. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like you're once you get a record, you're pretty much a slave again. So what was you going to find on this kid when he just turned 18 and he was a model citizen? So why are you using this now? Like, we talking about this situation. We got a plan due in what? Review, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was going to be able to get one anyway. So what I'm saying is it's a moral problem. It's a morality, right and wrong. Right now, someone can flip. You know how many people was a model citizen and one little thing happened and they just gave up on life and just or did something. Or you have just so many reasons. But
you have people running up on the stage during comedians doing their comedy sets and not getting held accountable, getting a misdemeanor for something that should have been a felony. What do you think that's going to say to the next group of people who are watching comedy? They're basically getting conditioned to say, hey, it's okay. I ain't going to really get anything serious out of it.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. It's more of a right and wrong, good and evil. That's what it is. You're never going to stop it. We just have to be prepared. You're never going to, you got to do things to deter because most people do not like the stop and frisk situation, right? But there's two types of policing. There's proactive and reactive. There's nothing in between. Cops have to wait. So this is how most people, especially black, want people to govern this country. They want you to react off a crime. They don't want you to sit there and question them and because that's profiling, right? So you can't go there and say, if you see something suspicious, to say something. That's racist. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
If they'd have walked up to him and he did something, that would have been racist, wouldn't it? So they have the next step is I gotta wait till something happened, right? So you made this place so stupid. You made this gun-free zone where a criminal could come in there, and guess what? Who knows what the response time to the police is? It could be 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had a gun, if he had one gun, and he had 32 rounds in that mug, and he had enough time to do what he did anyway. You get what I'm saying?
And shout out to the officer who took him out, border control officer. Border control's been getting a tough.
Imagine if he was there, though. Imagine if he was at the school already. That's what we need to be talking about.
Yep.
Because if he took him out just like that, they could have been there. He could have saw the guy suspiciously on the camera, got his people to come, and he handled it, but them other people that came right behind him. You know?
He went in there, no backup.
No backup. Shout out, like you said, shout out to him and the officers that's risking their life on the line. Mm-hmm. But we should demand, if you want to have them go to these schools, you demand to have security there. There's no other way. Because like the places, the schools that got security there, it shows, I'm pretty sure there's a study out there, it deterred crime there and everything else. If you know a cop is in the school, you ain't going to be fighting.
Let me tell you what, my church has been ahead of the game for over 30 years. We've had armed security at the church. You know, I'm not blaming church for not having, but I'm just saying that they saw something ahead. Maybe it was the community that it was in. I'm not sure, but whatever the case, I remember the two security guards, they were always there. You know,
man, and you made me think of Farrakhan. Nobody touches Farrakhan. The Nation of Islam, he got security. But anyway, yeah, we're probably gonna end it there, man. Definitely leave comments below. You know, what's your thoughts on this situation? Because we don't know everything, but we passionate. We got family as well, and we want to protect them as well. And we're mad too. We're mad about these things, and sometimes. We can't wait on government to take care of us. So we see what's going on when a lot of people need them. They're never there. They said that they're going to have these old people back by, we're going to give you security, and then they don't even give them enough to retire on. You see what I'm saying? So that just should show you right there that they're not trustworthy to take care of your family. So we might have to do it. If we got to strap up and get in front of these schools every day. I take my kids to school every day and pick them up. So maybe we're gonna have to do that. Maybe we're gonna have to get the AR-15s and stay in front of our school, and we do what we do. Mm-hmm. Until they get security up there, or just keep them home and homeschool them. But we got to get back to being home, because there's so much money out here, man. Where you can replace that job and be home and raise your kids. That's what we got to get back to. A lot of people can't, but we have to do something. Something's got to change, because if they ain't gonna have our backs like this, then we're gonna have to do it ourselves. Last thoughts. I'll give you last thoughts.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. And then at the end of the day, even after we get that, I would say focus on your family. Make sure you're looking at things objectively. If you are raising kids, you might need to ask some other people who are not you, what do they think about you and how you're raising your kids? If you're a single mother, you might want to consider getting around some men. If a relationship's not the thing for you or whatever, then better get around some good men that can be able to help to guide your child, especially these boys, because they are angry.
Right.
So,
right. All right, man.
That, I'd say, good night. God bless, and thanks for stopping in.